Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the SOMM TV podcast. I'm your host, Jason Wise. On today's episode, I have the great Claire Copey. We are going to be discussing where you should visit, what wine regions right now are the hot ones to go to, what deserves your money and your time to go visit. We're calling it the championship belt right now for wine regions to go visit. So is that Napa? Is it Sonoma? Is it even in California? Stay tuned, and we're going to talk about that on today's podcast. Before we do, today's episode, the SOMM TV podcast, is brought to you by Curate, a brand new app for blind tasting and studying wine. Have you ever called Cabernet for a Syrah on a blind tasting? Curate for sommeliers and wine students helps fix that. This app pairs voice-to-text dictation with a color-coded flavor wheel, guided deduction process, and a personalized accuracy reporting that turns tasting uncertainty into mastery. Endorsed by a World Sommelier Championship medalist, Curate delivers the structured practice top tasters rely on. Start with their free blind tasting mistake map to sidestep common pitfalls on your next exam. Then optimize your studies with Curate's comprehensive blind tasting companion. Visit www.curate.wine. SOMM TV listeners, by the way, all of you, save 25% on your first 3 months with code SOMMTV at checkout. So go to www.curate.wine and make sure to enter SOMM TV, valid through October 2025. Without further ado, Claire Copey and I talking wine regions and which one is the one to visit. Claire, thank you for joining me for, what is this, your 70th episode on the SOMM TV show?
Roundabouts.
Well, this is a special one. I think we want to talk about wine tourism. We want to talk about people visiting wine regions. And, you know, for professionals and anybody in the wine business, you find yourself in these regions for a lot of different reasons. Tastings, travel, some trade event, whatever. But for what I always call, quote unquote, the normal person, the person who has to put up their actual money, get in a car, get in a plane, drag somebody with them, hopefully willingly, and go to one of these regions and spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it's worth talking about kind of the state of doing that now and how it's doing and what we recommend, where we would go. Let me just start off by asking, how's the wine tourism industry doing? Feels off kilter to me.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from a professional is very different than, as you said, looking at it from the perspective of the everyday, average wine drinker. I think that, in general, what we're talking about, how the wine industry is in trouble in general. People are drinking less wine, specifically the younger generations are drinking less wine. And I think when you're looking at wine regions, especially in America, you think about one region in particular that kind of has the crown and is the most famous of American wine regions, and that's Napa Sonoma. And I think it's going through this change right now, and it's becoming less and less accessible, even for people in the industry. It can be really, really hard to get into some of these wineries. So for the average everyday person who wants to visit, even let's just say Mayacamas, I know that's probably not high up there on the bachelorette lists, but you need to know somebody. You really need to work for an appointment there. And once you get in there, a lot of these places are very expensive. So if you are making a trip out to, what is supposed to be the pinnacle of American wine, you're going to be plonking down quite a bit of cash. And I think that is starting to alienate the average wine tourist. And there are so many other great wine regions now that are emerging that are both more cost effective. They still have amazing, insanely beautiful, high quality wines. There's a lot of other stuff to do in these wine regions as well, just outside of wine tasting. Not saying that there isn't other stuff to do in Napa and Sonoma. You're out in a beautiful part of the country. But when you are in these wine regions, it's very much wine. That's what you're focusing on there. Wine, fine dining. Again, you're spending a lot of money. Spas. Whereas in some of these other areas, you can go out into nature a little more easily. It's a little more accessible. But I think that wine tourism is only going to pick up when you have more accessible wine regions from a cost standpoint, especially.
I don't want to beat up on Napa here, because this is a place that not only do I love, have a lot of friends up there, and we work with all the time because the wines are great. That being said, you're not wrong. It's hard to look, even just for a couple, that doesn't live within driving distance, it's very hard to pick up and go there and make a vacation out of it because of, like you said, how expensive it is. The meals,
Yeah.
it's not impossible to do Napa on a budget, for sure. I know for a fact, but without having some kind of inside knowledge, it can be very tricky to do that. So you almost kind of,
Yeah.
you almost find yourself booking, one of these hotels. Hotels are $500, $600, $700 a night now.
Very
I mean, I'm not kidding.
expensive.
Like that is,
Yeah.
it's out of my range, and I work, in this. I mean, I could never afford to go and stay there. So, we were talking off mic about kind of like what region currently holds kind of like the championship belt or the gold medal or the one where you go, this is the place I want to visit. And you, Claire, have a wedding coming up. I find it very fascinating that you've decided to do your bachelorette party in wine country. And this is where we started talking about like, yeah, but it's okay. No, this is, look, as much as people, I'm sure everyone has an opinion on a bachelorette party coming in a bus through wine country.
I won't be quite that cliche, but yes.
You're gonna have the sash, bride to be.
I don't know. Like honestly, like bachelor parties it's a whole thing, right? But for me, like it's obviously a very personal thing. Like this is my career, and I have this. I don't know why. It's like when you meet, your person in life, you just have this unspoken connection, and I've always had that with Santa Barbara wine country.
That's your person.
That's my person.
You're gonna get into your marriage there, and you're going to Santa Barbara. Okay, so you chose Santa Barbara as,
and I don't live close
by
anymore. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right.
So
well, we're gonna get
area.
to the place you right now currently reside and why it's such a fascinating place to talk about for wine. But why we're going to make our picks for who has the championship belt or who has the gold medal or whatever you want to classify it as in the wine region tourism world right now. But why did you choose Santa Barbara to go to with a bunch of your girlfriends to kick back and relax? Why did you choose this place?
I mean, there's a lot of boring logistical answers. It's close to LA where a lot of my close girlfriends live. So we can easily, a lot of them can easily drive up there. It's number one, beautiful. And we're not doing like downtown Santa Barbara. A lot of people do that, and there's a ton of tasting rooms there. But a lot of these wineries are pretty close to each other. If you want to go into downtown Los Olivos, there's a ton of amazing different tasting rooms that are right next to each other. So you don't even have to worry about, getting on a bus, a bachelorette bus to go around. The winemakers are the wine itself is just, I love that wine. I love that wine. A lot of Pinot. A lot of Pinot, especially if you're out in like the western part of Santa Barbara, a lot of Pinot, a lot of Chardonnay, but there's so many other great grapes and wines being made there. I'm in love with it. They smell and taste of the place. Like for me, I can put my nose in a glass like 95 to 98% of the time. And if I smell Santa Barbara, like it just jumps out of the glass to me. And it's approachable. Like we're talking about approachability in a wine tourism place. It's beautiful without being stuffy. It's welcoming and you feel like you're having a really special elevated experience, but you're not feeling, like you're in this very snooty environment that's too fancy or too expensive for you. Everyone is very welcoming. They're excited about their wine. They're excited to have you there. And some of the wines are really cool. They're doing some really cool new stuff. You look at like Dreamcoat. I'm not a huge like natty wine person. They've got some really cool natty wines that are sound and fun and unique. So there's just so much variety up there. They haven't really nailed themselves down to just Pinot, say. Like there's a lot of Pinot, but there's a lot of other stuff. So I like the variety.
Really good Grenache. I just wonder kind of as these wine regions evolve, what their end form is supposed to be. Because right now, and I know this goes in waves. So look, we're going to generalize quite a bit talking here. You kind of have to when you do sort of an umbrella conversation like this.
Yeah.
But I think I have watched in my now nearly 20-year career documenting wine stories. I have watched Napa go from something that was, I thought, very fancy at that time to now something I couldn't have imagined. And it's not necessarily, I don't have a value judgment on this. I'm just wondering, what is its final form supposed to be? Because now you have all this private equity money that is coming to Napa and bet big on this being a very profitable place from a real estate standpoint first, and then second for wine and restaurants and that. And it's always concerned me this mentality because wine is something that is a very long process. And I don't just mean to make money. I know a lot of winemakers who are like, make money in wine. That's not what you, but just to get to a place where it is distinct and the place is old enough not to fail. And I say that in terms of like its brand recognition matters. It's important to the region. And that goes for, if you look at Napa, think about the big houses, whether they're owned by another company or not, Mondavi or Trefethen, which, some of these places are now trying to rectify with how big they've gotten. And they're a part of Napa. You can't think of Napa without it. It's like thinking of Las Vegas and thinking of, Caesar's Palace or something. So like, which I don't know if they like that analogy, but the final thing is now I've seen when I started Santa Barbara, my wife and I would drive up to Santa Barbara and it was, you'd have your MapQuest printed out map and you'd be like, here's a winery, and you'd drive to it. And along the way, you'd find a German couple who are like, we also make wine. And I remember going back and having some like German varietals I'd never had in my life, Dornfelder and things like that, from a couple in Santa Barbara. I just don't think that exists anymore in the Santa Barbara wine country. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Probably I certainly haven't encountered a German couple on the side of the road selling me their Dornfelder yet. Yeah, you never know.
I have photos to prove it.
And that is the weird dichotomy of wanting a wine region to grow, but you also kind of don't want it to. You want it to hit the sweet spot, right? Because when it's so small, you don't really have enough distribution to get your wines out there. People have to come to you, right? Whereas then when you get too big, you get into this thing that, Napa is kind of slipping into. And I mean, that's just part of its journey. We have no idea if this bubble that's happening there, I mean, it's got to burst at some point. What's going to happen with the fallout of that? We don't know. But these wine regions just kind of start swelling and become almost too big for themselves,
Sure.
And I think right now, Santa Barbara is in a really nice sweet spot. And I think that there are other wine regions in the US too that are in really, really good places, like really exciting, nice, sweet spots where they're big enough that you can go to your grocery store in a different state and get a wine from there, a good wine from there, but not so big that, they're being bought out like by these giant equity companies like you're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, Santa Barbara's on the way. I mean, every wine region has prospectors who are going, is this the next big thing? Let's buy land. Let's buy a winery and feel it out. Hold on to it. I mean,
definitely.
The wine region I'm going to pick as holding the championship belt or the gold medal right now for travel to is one that has a lot of big companies moving in. To me, I feel like it's kind of like it's a very gold rush situation for people who have money to spend on property, which, is a natural progress, like you said. But so if we were taking all American wine regions and you were going to say, who is holding the crown right now for people to go and visit? And this has to come with a couple tiers. One, you recommend it. Two, you believe it. So like you would say, you should go there, but also I would go there. And then on top of it, it is not too big that it's not accessible for what I would call the average person still learning about wine, still trying to get into it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there are a couple that come to mind. Maybe I'm just biased, but yeah, like Santa Barbara. I just think it's the next, it's already a big thing, but I think as far as the future of, especially like if we're just looking at California, like it's Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's Willamette for sure.
That's the other one.
In Oregon, and we've done a lot of content recently, so it's not a big surprise that, I've spent a lot of time up there. I have good friends who have, over the course of 6-7 years, been making wine and gone through the process of watching the Willamette grow. You talk about a sweet spot. The Willamette is a place where you can still show up at a tasting room and people are not only happy to see you, they want to know who you are. Like you can actually talk to somebody and they're like, oh, you're a teacher in Minnesota. Well, that's excellent. They want to hear your story. And I think that, if you go to a place, look, I'm grossly generalizing, but if you go to a place like Napa, often you are one of 7, 10, 12 people groups tasting in a tasting room. At Montelena, you have to go and get a ticket now. you get a ticket and you get to go into one
Damn,
room and you're
really?
in there for X amount of time. Then you move to the next room, and they have tons of volume. I mean, they're trying to deal with the amount of people that come through and give them a good experience, which, by the way, Montelena is fantastic to go taste at, but it's very different than going to Syrah Winery up in the Willamette Valley, which is, a place you have to go to, make a contact with, go in there, find out that the wine is insanely underpriced, and you get to go home with a case of wine for cheaper than you could imagine. I mean, it's like there's still things like that in the Willamette. I mean, for me, it holds the championship belt of where I would say go and visit. You need to go there over Paso.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Even over Washington.
There's so much to
Washington
do in
State.
Oregon too. Yeah. Like it's such a beautiful, again, not saying that California or Washington, like you said, are not beautiful states with lots to do, but you are in this area that, you could go out on a hike. There's a bunch of rivers around there to do shit. Like Oregon's, I need to get out there more.
It's fantastic.
So
what could Napa, Sonoma, even Paso, what could these places do to get you to want to travel to them? Like, how do they...
That's a great question because, I mean, again, it's Napa, Sonoma. I'm never going to say, like, no to going there. It's not like I am against them or anything like that because I think that there are a ton of smaller producers doing amazing things. And again, I think that's honestly what it would take. I'd want to go see smaller producers, people that are a little off the radar that, still have their own hands in their own product.
Okay.
Again, it's that sweet spot of production that they're small enough to be able to, like I said, have their own hands in it and have their own sense of self in the wine.
We're talking the Mathiasins, the Di Constanzos, the
for the small producers.
Yeah, Aaron Potts and stuff like that. The people who have fought it out in Napa. There's tons in Sonoma.
A lot of the people that we have been fortunate enough to talk with on SOMM TV, because I think that you guys do a great job of talking to those people because you love stories and you want to tell these stories. Sure. And like you were saying in the Willamette Valley, you can walk in and they want to talk to you and hear your story. These smaller producers in Sonoma and Napa, it's the same thing. And they're just farmers. They're humble farmers, and it's that personal
they're not
touch.
all humble. Let's not be too
they're all humble.
rash here.
Well,
so Claire, you're in Idaho.
I'm in Idaho.
You're in Idaho. And one of the interesting things that you have taught me about is the burgeoning wine region in Idaho. Now, I want to talk about, because first of all, I don't mean to sound snobby here, but to find out that there's wine in Idaho, I think would surprise a lot of people.
Absolutely. I mean, it surprised me at one point, It's still very small. Their oldest AVA is from 2007. It's also their largest. It's the Snake River Valley that they share with Western Oregon, which a lot of people are probably familiar with. They, in the span of such a short amount of time, like the wineries have doubled. They have around 71 right now. I'm sure 3 more just got founded in the time that we've been talking. But it's incredible. It's an exciting time to be here because it kind of feels, in a way, like being in a Napa in the 60s when it's just starting out in the 50s or 60s. I have no idea what level these wines will get to. I can tell you from the few wineries I've been to that there's a lot of promise. Are they where they could be yet? No. They're still, figuring it out. But talking about sweet spots as far as like where we're at in the world, the latitude, elevation, some of these vineyards get up to 3,000 feet in elevation. Wow. You've got rivers that provide really great cooling effects because you've got the Boise River, which, feeds into the Snake River, going through the southern part of the state. And then, a ton more rivers and lakes that provide really good, moderating climates for these grapes. Great diurnal shifts. It gets nice and warm during the day, cold at night. It's really a sweet spot for winemaking. And I'm honestly surprised that it's taking this long to get on people's radars. But again, we're talking about that sweet spot of size, and they're still very small. Like, all right, so their distribution is very little.
What's the pitch to come to Idaho? Because right now, look, Napa, a lot of these wine regions, they have a whole commission that's trying to make people understand they exist, make people understand their wines are good. And obviously for Napa and for Sonoma and for Santa Barbara and for Washington State and for even Oregon, I mean, even the Finger Lakes, they obviously want you to know about the region, not just to travel there, but so that when you're in a restaurant in Philadelphia, you'll order a bottle of Riesling from the Finger Lakes, or you'll order
Yeah.
a Washington State Cabernet. So what does Idaho, we should start with, what do they grow? Because I'm looking at Idaho as I want to travel to this place.
Yeah.
What do they grow,
beautiful.
and what is their pitch to come to this place and taste their wine?
Well, I mean, first of all, to taste their wine, you really do have to come here because the wineries are in such like a boutique stage right now. They don't have the distribution to really get it into neighboring states, grocery stores kind of things yet. They will get there. So it's very much you need to come here to experience these wines, which I think any wine, if you have the chance to go to where that wine is from, do it. It changes your experience of that wine so much. It personalizes everything in the glass. So it's very much come to Idaho and taste the wines here. And I got to tell you, like, the experience around tasting wines here, and I've just been in the southern part of the state, right? Like, there's the whole northern AVA of the Lewis and Clark Valley, and northern Idaho is friggin' gorgeous. So is southern Idaho, but northern Idaho is insane. So you have so many opportunities to do so much stuff here. You can go rafting down the river, fly fishing, go on amazing hikes.
Today's episode sponsored by Idaho Wine.
It's really freaking magical. It's the Idaho Wine Commission. But
Do
it
they
really
have
is
one?
magical.
Do they have a commission?
They do have a commission.
Oh, really? Okay.
They do. So they are working on getting people to come out here and experience it. But it really is all those lovely things. Again, is the wine in this place that it's going to absolutely, you're going to be like, oh my God, this Pinot Noir tastes like Burgundy. Like, no, not yet. But you will taste some really, really delicious wines that have an insane amount of promise. It's an exciting place to be in.
When you think about Napa or Sonoma, these places, their pitch to come visit is usually, we have great food, we have great wine, it's very pretty. There's not like an outdoor tourism aspect that I'm aware of when people are like, come to Paso or come to Napa or come to Washington State. It's mostly like, hey, we've got great food, we've got great wine, we've got great scenery, right? I mean, that's kind of what the ideal wine region thing is. Is there something maybe new to unlock here for like outdoor tourism and a wine region? Because I don't know of any others that are nestled in like mountain biking the way this is. You know, I mean, it's a very interesting pitch.
This area is incredibly built around being outside, which was a huge draw for my fiance and I to move out here because we love being outside and doing outdoorsy stuff. And this whole state, honestly, like most of Idaho is public land, so that you can just go out and camp wherever the heck you want or go out and hike wherever you want. And, you know, speckled in here and there are these beautiful vineyards and experiences to try all these different grapes too. Like the variety here is really, really insane. They're not just focusing on, which I respect a lot, they're not just focusing on, well, Cabernet Sauvignon's the big seller. Like, let's just plant a ton of Cabernet Sauvignon. They're planting everything, honestly. I had, like I said, a Grenache Blanc that was amazing.
But isn't that kind of how every wine region starts?
And then they find their thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's plant everything and kind of see what happens. I mean,
that's true. That's a really good point.
What should they be growing?
For southern Idaho, it does get warmer here in the summer. So those Rhone varieties are doing really, really nicely. The Syrahs, Grenaches. Tempranillo is a big one that they're marketing the heck out of down here, at least. It's been the year of Tempranillo, apparently. A lot of different Chardonnays being made too, of course. I mean, Chardonnay is the prostitute of grapes. Somebody called it, right? It's everywhere. I feel like I heard somebody say it was like, like the prostitute of grapes. It's everywhere. It's been everywhere. It's always going to be there.
That's good. I like that.
Albarino too. I've had a couple really good Albarinos. Sorry. I get excited. And I haven't been excited about one
of grapes? Albarino's the...
If it's not the prostitute, it's the... No, my brain's going into lots of nasty places.
This is too dark. This is too dark.
Too dark.
All right. Okay, so let's round this up. If you and I are going to name it's summertime. There's going to be maybe one or two more trips, but I do think wine country in the fall is one of the greatest things you can do. If you can spare a weekend, get to a wine country and be there in the fall. Why don't you and I go through what our top picks are of where people should go and visit?
Sure.
But where people should go and visit for to wrap up this year.
If you are traveling to a wine region in the fall, check out the Finger Lakes in western upstate New York. I got to go there in the fall and it was stunning to see all the leaves changing on the lakes there. Holy mother of God. Gorgeous. Gorgeous,
One of the
gorgeous.
most beautiful wine regions, really, truly. It is
So beautiful.
Stunning, stunning. That part of the world when the leaves are on fire. Really good.
Gorgeous. What about
Best
you?
Riesling
Where's
in
your
America,
pick?
probably.
That's,
I mean,
yeah,
Willamette. I'm still sticking with it. Go to the
it's a great
Willamette.
choice.
I mean, there's a lot to do around it. You know, you
Yes.
really can get into some stuff. There's, you know, they too have rivers and things like that. If you're going to go in the fall, it's probably too cold for that, but there's great fishing. There's great, you know, you can get out to the coast of Oregon and have some of the best oysters in the United States. You know, it's an hour away. What else would you recommend? Finger Lakes, Willamette.
Those are great. I just want to say Temecula to mess with you because you always shit on Temecula.
No, it's more of no. You know what?
No, I know.
Listen, I have been unkind to Temecula. Temecula
Bad.
is it's if you're in San Diego, it's very close. And
Yes.
the thing my biggest problem with Temecula and a lot of regions, especially in America, because Americans do this for some reason, they just grow the wrong grapes there. I mean, they're trying to do things like Pinot and
Oof,
you know, there
too
are
hot.
plenty of Spanish and Southern Italian grapes and things, but I think a lot of people, you do realize we talk about this stuff ad nauseum, but I don't think a lot of people really care. You know, they want to go there, they want to drink some wine, and they go, I'm familiar with Chardonnay, so give me a Chardonnay. Instead of
Totally.
going, you know, here is this, you know, Chazanese or something that would probably grow better. You know,
No.
it's look, it is what it is. I'm just podcasting
Especially,
here, you
yeah,
know?
like when you're talking about like, you know, we go back to like the whole bachelorette thing because like that's a thing. We want to go to wine country, right? With our girls and we want to have our wine. I went to Temecula for a bachelorette with my friend and it was, you know, we had a great freaking time. We had a great time. We were popping bubbles all day.
Temecula's fine. It's just quite warm. It's warm
It's
down
very
there.
warm. It's
Yeah.
very warm.
But I
Yeah.
have had some wines from that area, like some Palominos and things that are fantastic. Like
I had
really,
a
really
sparkling
good
rosé
stuff.
that was pretty good. Yeah. Again, I mean, these are places that are just finding their footing, right? Like they need time. It's not fair to expect people to like be at this, you know, benchmark right out the gate. Like wine is hard. Making
What do you
wine is
say?
hard. I hear. So like give people some time, you know?
I have long and hard thought about putting together almost not like a concierge service, but a service to guide people if they're going to wine regions to get appointments and get tastings. I would love to hear from listeners if they would use this. If we put it together and people came to us and said, like, if SOMM TV members were like, I'm going to
Oh yeah.
looking for a region, we could recommend a place, and they're like, all right, where should we go? And we could put together an itinerary. And the main reason is
It's a
just
great idea.
there are so many wineries in these places where people will go to Napa or people go to Sonoma and they go, you know, what are the Google hits? Where should I go? And of course you should go to those. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. The places in a wine region that are famous for a reason. I will always tell people, you know, absolutely go to the big guys. You need to, but you can't avoid the ones that are small and interesting and doing unique stuff. And this comes whether you're a professional or not. They're just more fun. It's just more fun to spread out and see these places. So, you know, if you listen and you're like, I would do this, you know, let us know, email us or whatever, because I would really like to put this together. We've talked about
love making itineraries. Are you kidding me? I would love to do that.
Well, speaking of itineraries, we'll end this with where are you, we won't say when, because we don't want anyone to crash your bachelorette party, but where are you going to visit? What's tops on your list with your girlfriends in Santa Barbara wine country?
Well, we're staying at a ranch that we're renting. So we're going to drive around a little bit. We might pop into Los Olivos. I mean, if you go on my Instagram, you'll see Story of Soil blowing up there. Probably
Story of
more
Soil.
than I should.
I know you're a big fan. You're always talking about them.
She's great. Okay. Storm. But I think we're going to
Storm.
hit up a little closer to the ranch is Melville.
Melville,
and,
good, yeah. Melville's
Deerberg.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Deerberg, okay. You going to hit the hitching post? You guys going to go there? Do a little...
That's a great idea, actually.
I mean, it's right by Deerberg. If you're going to go to Deerberg, you're like kind of right by the hitching post. You're almost like, that's kind of the tour that, you know, in Sideways, Miles, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
Deerberg, hitching post.
Be a good place for dinner.
Go to Fez Parker, you know, if you wanted to do the whole...
They're right around there too, yeah.
The whole tour.
Just too many good places. I'm very excited.
Stoltman. Got to do Stoltman.
Oh,
if you're in Los Olivos, they have a tasting room. You should go to Stoltman.
They do. But what I should do is I should hit him up so we can do the zip line into his reservoir.
Oh my God, he would love to have you. That is, if anybody has seen the blind tasting sessions between Pete Stoltman and his wife over at Stoltman Vineyards, they do it on a surfboard in front of their water reservoir.
So
and
great.
They have built a gigantic water slide. We are off the rails here talking about this, but that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about with the
exactly.
Great.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're actually going to do a story on them coming up on the podcast
in
a future episode. Yep, on their Love You Bunch's success. It's an amazing story.
Holy mother of God, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it really is.
It's awesome.
Well, Claire, it is an honor. Idaho has found a very good spokesperson for you in you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, that pitch in going to visit Idaho wine country.
Come visit. Right. We'll get drunk on the river.
I will. Well, I'll be in the Willamette, hanging out, sturgeon fishing, and drinking Pinot. So,
dude, I will sturgeon fish the hell with you. To hell. I don't know. Let's go fishing.
Sounds good. All right, Claire, behave yourself. Have a good bachelorette party.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to the podcast. It means a lot. Of course, do not forget to please rate and give us a review wherever you listen, whether that's Apple Pods or it's on Spotify. That means an enormous amount. Hit us up on social media, too. We are always checking our messages, and some of the best ideas we get for podcasts come from you listeners. So hit us up, and don't worry, we've got more movie pods and all that stuff coming, so I hear you guys. I see it. We're going to do a mailbag podcast coming up, so I want to know your questions. Hit us up on Instagram, on X, anywhere we have social media, or you can email hello@sommtv.com and let us know your questions for any of our cast members, for me, anything funny you want me to address. We're prepping a whole mailbag conversation, so please hit us up there. I want to thank our podcast producer, John Adams. I want to thank our sponsor, Curate, and I want to remind all of you that you can watch this episode on SOMM TV. You should be a subscriber, sommtv.com. You can get 50% off if you enter SOMM TV at checkout. All right, everybody, be safe. We will talk very soon.